So here we are pulling in towards Rouse Hill Town Centre. This is an
Is this
incredible project. Yeah, look how much the trees, I haven't been out here for a few years and the trees have really grown up. You can't really tell it's here.
This is one of your first jobs, was it, in Australia?
Yeah, one of the first jobs when I first came here back in about 2003, 2004. And GPT, the owners, developers of this precinct, it was one of the only open air shopping centres that had been really built in Sydney and certainly in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
And they were really concerned about thermal comfort for shoppers, that people wanted to come here and shop. So they wanted to create these kind of laneway spaces. And so my role was to use the thermal modelling software to test the kind of thermal comfort and the adaptive thermal comfort piece, and also ensuring that all the shading, like these retractable shades up here, they all come in when they need to. But in a winter's day, they can open up and allow the light in. But even, you're seeing like these screens up here to the side,
Yes.
the exact angle of them, the size of them, we modelled out in 3D back in 2004, so like 16 years ago.
Just to let the sun come in
Just
at the right time of the day.
Exactly the right sun angles at exactly the right times. And it's really interesting for the architecture of it because it creates these crazy kind of triangles and spaces where they've been tuned to let the light in at exactly the right time, so that there's no light on any shop fronts. This quadrant we're coming into here is one of my favourite bits because it really allows some of that direct sunlight to come through.
You can see it on the ground coming through there now, and notice that it doesn't actually hit any of the shop fronts.
No, so
which
it's
is
been
lovely.
tuned to never be on the shop front.
Yeah.
So the retailers here, there's never any glare for people wanting to look into the shops.
Yeah.
We did the adaptive thermal comfort, this outdoor standard effective temperature analysis, which showed that you didn't need to be really closely controlled in temperature to actually create a thermally comfortable space. Here today, what is it, 26, 27 degrees?
Yep.
And yet the coolth from the shop fronts is creating a space that feels like an enclosed mall. And yet you get that kind of play of sun. It's been a really successful shopping centre, I think.
It's very
from that
comfortable
perspective.
here, actually. Yeah, very comfortable. Lovely light, and it's got a lovely human scale about it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. I think rather than those big malls and those big atrium spaces, everything's much closer here. And we drove around earlier the streets. People want to move in these closed kind of little laneways more than they want to be on the streets. So in these spaces, it becomes a bit more enclosed, a bit more covered off. There's a bit more kind of coolness coming from those shops. And it lifts up a little bit, and we're looking out to the north here, so the amount of extra light that we get in, really noticeably more open.
It's really good. Excellent space. Must have been a fantastic project to work on when you first came out.
Yeah, it was really good. And the other great thing about this is where I first met Michael Dager and David Callio was around it's got a central chilled water circuit.
Yes, that's
So
right.
big chillers that kind of produce the cooling for all of these shops. One of the interesting things that they discovered was that we were running the cooling towers on the Rouse Hill recycled water.
Yep.
We couldn't understand why the cycles of concentration on the chillers were up at like 10, 11, 12,
Yep.
massive numbers. And GPT were like, we're supposed to be water efficient. And it turned out they were adding chlorine to some of that water just to give it that kind of public health kind of protection. But the cooling towers were sensing it and then running more cycles, and they actually saved far more water by going back to potable water.
Oh, wow.
So they got back down to like 3 cycles
That's
and
interesting.
going back down to potable from the recycled. So the recycled just does the irrigation and those kinds of things now.
So it's interesting to see that some of the guys who worked on this are now working at LCI with you now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's full
it's
circle.
yeah, full circle.
It's really interesting to see.